All right, let's kick off another deep dive. Today, we're going to be talking about Europe's latest accomplishment in space. You ready for this?
I am. Lay it on me.
They launched the Sentinel-1C satellite, and get this,
Yeah.
on a Vega-C rocket.
No way.
Big win for Europe.
It's a double win, right?
It is a double win for both, the satellite program and the rocket program.
Exactly. This launch, it's the third mission already for the Copernicus Sentinel-1 satellite series.
Wow.
And also the third launch for the Vega-C rocket.
Really?
Which is, you have to remember, this is a return to flight for the Vega-C.
Oh, that's right. It had that setback.
It did, last year.
Yes, this is even, a bigger deal.
Yeah, even sweeter, Talk about resilience.
Love it. Okay, so we've got up in space this new satellite,
Sentinel-1C.
Sentinel-1C joining its older sibling, Sentinel-1A,
Right.
part of the Copernicus program, which is basically Europe's eye in the sky, right? Constantly watching over the planet.
That's right.
But what is it about Sentinel-1C that makes it so special? Because didn't we already have two of these up there?
Well, yeah, we did have 1A and 1B.
Right.
Sadly, 1B had to be decommissioned recently.
Oh, okay.
But the good news is 1C is ready to go, picking up where it left off.
Okay.
So they're designed to work together, capturing radar images of Earth no matter the weather, day or night.
Nice.
But 1C, this one's got a new trick.
Oh.
It's equipped with, get this, an automatic identification system,
What?
or AIS receiver, which allows it to detect and, monitor all the maritime traffic.
Wait, hold on. AIS? That sounds super complex.
Well,
so is it the satellite is what, reading tiny little license plates on ships from space?
That's a great analogy. So basically ships, they have these AIS transponders that transmit their location, speed, all that data
Okay.
using radio waves, right? And Sentinel-1C's receiver can pick up on those signals, even from hundreds of kilometers away. Wow. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Gives us this unprecedented insight into global shipping pattern.
That's wild. Okay, so it can see through clouds, it can track ships, it's providing continuous data. So what's all this information actually used for? What's the the impact of this mission down here on Earth?
The applications are, huge. That's what makes this mission so exciting. Let's start with the Arctic, for example.
Okay.
Sentinel-1 data, crucial for monitoring sea ice and glaciers.
Okay.
Provides, really important insights into climate change.
Right.
Remember that massive iceberg, A83, that broke off Antarctica?
I do, yeah.
Sentinel-1 tracked its every move.
Oh, wow.
This data isn't just for scientists either. It's used for, maritime safety, making sure ships don't collide with these things.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty important considering how much attention climate change is getting these days.
Absolutely.
But let's not forget about the the disasters closer to home.
Right.
Didn't Sentinel-1 play a big part in the flooding in Emilia-Romagna?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When those devastating floods hit,
Yeah.
Sentinel-1 provided almost real-time imagery, so rescue teams could see how bad the damage was immediately, even though the weather was terrible.
I see.
See, that's the great thing about radar technology.
Hmm.
It can cut right through clouds and darkness, no problem.
Okay.
That data helped them, prioritize rescues and get resources where they needed to be.
So it's not just about, the big picture, climate change. It's about
Right.
real-time, on-the-ground support when disaster strikes.
Exactly.
Okay, now I kind of want to switch gears for a second, talk about the other, star of this show, the
Yeah.
Vega-C rocket.
Oh, yeah.
Can you give us, the rundown on this powerful machine and why this launch is such a big deal, especially after that setback last year?
Yeah, so the Vega-C is Europe's newest launch vehicle. Okay, it's designed to carry small to medium-sized payloads into space.
I see.
Think of it as a workhorse, but for scientific and Earth observation missions.
Cool.
Now, the previous failure,
Yeah.
which was caused by a faulty nozzle in the rocket's upper stage.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a big blow, But the engineers, they went back to the drawing board, redesigned that nozzle, rigorously tested the new, improved Zephyr 040 stage.
Wow.
So the successful launch, it's a brand new chapter for Vega-C.
Okay.
It really shows the commitment of the European Space Program to overcoming those challenges and ensuring that their launchers are reliable.
I'm sensing a theme here.
What's that?
Resilience
Yeah.
seems to be a big part of both, Sentinel-1C and Vega-C's story.
Absolutely.
They're both achieving these incredible things,
Yeah.
but while also bouncing back from these tough challenges.
Oh, yeah.
What I also find fascinating is that both of these projects involve so many different countries and organizations.
Oh, absolutely. Collaboration is essential in space exploration.
Yeah.
You've got, for example, both the European Space Agency, ESA, and the European Commission playing huge roles.
Right.
Then you have companies like Thales Alenia Space,
Yeah.
Airbus Defense and Space,
Yeah.
bringing their top-notch expertise in satellite and rocket technology.
So it's really a team effort, involving engineers, scientists, and so many people across Europe.
It really is.
So it's not just about, rockets and satellites.
It's about the people.
It's about the human ingenuity, the collaboration, the dedication that makes all these missions possible.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's pretty inspiring, right?
It is, and this is just the start for Sentinel-1C. Imagine all the discoveries that are waiting for us as it continues to scan our planet.
Yeah, I know, it's exciting.
It is. But for now, I think we should take a little break.
All right.
And when we come back, we can delve a little deeper into some specific examples of how this data is actually changing how we understand this planet.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, stay tuned. So before the break, we were talking about how the data from Sentinel-1C can be used to monitor things like icebergs and respond to disasters.
Right.
But it doesn't end there.
Oh, okay.
One of the, I think, most interesting parts of this mission is how it's changing how we understand the oceans.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned earlier that it can track ships using that AIS receiver.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm curious, how's that data being used in practical ways? Is it actually making a difference?
Absolutely. The AIS data from Sentinel-1C it's a game changer for maritime security.
Okay.
For example, back in 2023,
Yeah.
there was this suspected illegal fishing operation happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a protected marine sanctuary in the Pacific.
Wow.
And, authorities, they had their suspicions.
Right.
But it was the Sentinel-1 data that really gave them the evidence.
Oh, wow.
The satellite tracked the movements of all the vessels, proving that they were, fishing illegally in that protected zone.
So it's like having a detective in space gathering all the evidence, exposing illegal activities that might otherwise go unnoticed.
Exactly. And it's not just about, catching the bad guys.
Right.
This data is also crucial for just, general ship safety at sea.
Okay.
Remember Storm Boris from earlier this year? They actually used Sentinel-1 imagery.
Really?
To track that storm's path and intensity, which gave vital information to, maritime authorities, coastal communities.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this kind of data can, help ships navigate safely, avoid dangerous conditions, potentially even save lives.
It really does sound like Sentinel-1C is playing a vital role in keeping our oceans
Absolutely.
safe and sustainable.
Yeah.
But, we've talked a lot about the practical applications.
Right.
What about the sciencey side of things?
Yeah.
How's all this data being used to advance our understanding of the oceans themselves?
That's a great question. So one area where this Sentinel-1 data is proving really, really helpful is in studying ocean currents.
Okay.
By, tracking the movements of those surface features, scientists can get a much better picture of how these currents behave and how they influence things like, weather patterns and even marine ecosystems.
Interesting.
For example, researchers are using Sentinel-1 data to study the Gulf Stream.
The Gulf Stream.
Yeah, that powerful current that plays a major role in regulating the climate of North America and Europe.
Wow. I never would have thought that a satellite could be used to study something as complex as ocean currents.
Yes, it's pretty amazing.
It just really shows how everything on the planet is connected.
It really does. And let's not forget about, the impact of climate change on our oceans.
Right.
Sentinel-1 data is also being used to track changes in sea level.
Okay.
Monitor the extent of sea ice and study, how ocean warming affects marine life. And that information it's essential for understanding that really complex link between the oceans and climate change.
So from tracking ships to studying currents to monitor the impacts of climate change.
Right.
Sentinel-1C is this multi-tool for understanding and protecting our oceans.
It really is.
But I'm curious, are there any limitations to this technology? Anything it can't do?
That's a great point. So while radar technology does have a lot of advantages,
Right.
it does have its limitations.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
like for example, if the sea is really rough or if there's a lot of heavy rain,
Yeah.
that can sometimes, affect the quality of the data.
Hmm.
And even though like the AIS system is fantastic,
Yeah.
it still relies on ships actually having, working transponders.
Oh, right.
And not all ships, especially like smaller fishing vessels,
Right.
they don't always have AIs,
I see.
which means there are still kind of these blind spots when it comes to monitoring everything that's happening out there.
So while Sentinel-1C is like, this major step forward,
Yeah.
it's important to like acknowledge that it's not perfect.
Right.
We still need to, develop new technologies and new approaches to fill in those gaps and just get a better understanding of our oceans.
Absolutely. Ongoing research and development, that's super important
Yeah.
to make sure we have the right tools to protect and manage our oceans well.
Right.
But, that doesn't take away from the amazing achievements of this mission.
Yeah.
Sentinel-1C is giving us this incredible, never before seen insight into how our oceans work.
Right.
And that's definitely something to celebrate.
It is. It is. Now, before we move on too far, I kind of want to touch on something we talked about a bit earlier.
Yeah.
That collaborative nature of this mission,
Right.
This is a European success story,
Yeah.
but it goes beyond just Europe, doesn't it?
You're right. It does. So
Mhm.
while the mission is led by those European institutions,
Yeah.
the data from Sentinel-1C, it's open. It's available to anyone.
Oh, wow.
Researchers, organizations all over the world.
Cool.
This open data policy it's really encouraging that global collaboration.
Right.
It's speeding up all those scientific discoveries.
Right.
So you have scientists from everywhere using this data to study the planet, to tackle environmental challenges, and ultimately contribute to a more sustainable future for everyone.
It's awesome that this data is like, it's being shared so freely.
Yeah.
It's benefiting not just Europe, but the entire world. It
Yeah.
really speaks to the power of that international collaboration, in tackling these global challenges.
Couldn't agree more.
But we've focused so much on Earth observation in this deep dive.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about that other exciting piece of this launch.
Okay.
The successful return to flight of that Vega-C rocket.
Oh, yes.
When we come back, we'll explore like what that achievement really means.
Yeah.
And what it means for the future of European space exploration. So don't go anywhere.
Hmm.
And we're back, diving deep into Europe's like double victory in space.
Double win.
We've been exploring all the amazing things that the Sentinel-1C satellite can do
Yeah.
and how it's like changing how we understand our planet.
Right.
But we can't forget about the other half of this success story,
Well,
right?
it's not.
The Vega-C rocket making its like triumphant return to flight.
Yeah, that's right. This launch, I mean, it's a huge milestone for the European Space Program.
Yep.
And remember, the Vega-C, it's designed to carry those smaller payloads into orbit,
Right.
like scientific instruments and Earth observation satellites.
Yeah.
So it's like a key part of Europe having its own independent access to space.
So it's not just about launching a satellite. It's about
It's bigger than that.
Europe like solidifying its position
Yeah,
as a leader in the global space community.
Exactly.
I remember you mentioning earlier that the Vega-C had like a setback last year.
Oh,
Can you remind us what happened?
Yeah, so back in December 2022,
Okay.
the first commercial flight of the Vega-C, it didn't go as planned.
Right.
It actually ended in failure
I see.
because of a problem with the nozzle and the Cefiro-40 motor,
Oh.
which is the rocket's upper stage.
Oh, okay.
It was a tough setback, definitely.
Yeah.
But it also showed us just how important, rigorous testing is and
Yeah.
continuous improvement, especially in space exploration.
So what did the engineers do? Like, how did they address that issue?
Well, they got to work.
Okay.
They did a thorough investigation,
All right.
redesigned the nozzle. They even used like these advanced materials and manufacturing techniques.
Wow.
And then get this, they put the whole Cefiro-40 stage through like a bunch of demanding tests,
Okay.
including 2 static fire tests just earlier this year.
So they really went all out.
Oh yeah, and it paid off because
Yeah.
this successful launch,
Yeah.
it shows, that commitment to safety and reliability.
Okay.
just like at the core of the European space program.
It's amazing, like, how much dedication and ingenuity goes into these missions,
That's a
just constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible,
yeah,
overcoming these crazy challenges along the way.
it's incredible.
So I gotta ask, what does this successful launch mean, like, for the future of the Vega-C and for European space exploration in general?
Well, this success, it opens up so many possibilities.
Okay.
It marks, the return of those regular commercial operations for the Vega-C,
Nice.
which paves the way for a whole bunch of upcoming missions, both scientific and commercial.
Wow.
So we can expect to see, more frequent launches
Uh,
of smaller satellites for all sorts of purposes,
Like,
like, Earth observation, telecommunications, even space exploration.
so this is really just the beginning of a new era
Yeah.
for the Vega-C,
Oh.
expanding like Europe's capabilities in space.
Exactly.
But what I find most inspiring about this whole story, both with Sentinel-1C and Vega-C,
Yeah.
is that spirit of collaboration, that shared ambition.
I couldn't agree more.
This double win for Europe, it really shows like the power of teamwork.
Absolutely.
International cooperation.
Yeah.
We're talking about a satellite and a rocket developed and launched by
Yeah.
a whole group of nations, agencies, companies,
It's amazing.
all working together.
Towards a common goal.
It's a testament to what we can achieve as humans when we combine all our resources and our expertise.
It's a reminder that even in a field as complex and as challenging as space exploration collaboration, that's the key to success.
And it's not just about, reaching for the stars. It's about using that space technology to help everyone here on Earth.
Yeah.
Monitoring our environment, supporting those disaster relief efforts,
Yeah.
advancing like scientific discoveries.
It all ties together.
These missions are truly making a difference.
They are. You've hit the nail on the head there.
This deep dive into the successes of Sentinel-1C and Vega-C,
Yeah.
it's really shown us that space exploration, it's not just about rockets and satellites.
It's about so much more.
It's about like pushing the limits of human knowledge,
Yeah.
encouraging global collaboration,
Hmm.
and ultimately making life better here on Earth.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm left feeling like this sense of wonder
Yeah.
and excitement for what's next.
Oh,
What
what is
other breakthroughs and discoveries are out there,
Who knows? I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Me too. And that's the amazing thing about space exploration.
Oh,
There's always something new to discover.
Something that pushes us to think bigger, to come up with new ideas, to work together, to achieve those things that seem impossible.
I love that.
So keep looking up at the stars.
Okay.
Keep asking questions.
I will do.
And never stop exploring.
That's great advice.
The future of space exploration it's bright and it's full of possibilities.
I love it. That's a great note to end on.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for joining me on another deep dive.
It was my pleasure.